Crypto it's a huge subject. It's keep on changing from day one, and it's changed so rapidly. And like if you blink for 1 second, you're missing the next big thing that is happening. Like you're going away for a vacation for 6 months, you're coming back, and there is NFTs.
Welcome to The Executives, the show where we navigate in the intricate world of executive leadership, exploring strategies, insights, and personal stories of successful professionals shaping the global business landscape. I'm your host, Majid, and today we have an amazing guest with us, Or Toledano. She is currently working as the Vice President of BD at Inabit and has a lot of experience in the field. Hello and welcome to the show, Or.
Hi, thank you for having me, Majid.
I saw your expressions, by the way, in the beginning change when I said your name. I think I said it wrongly, right?
No, that was actually impressive. It's a long name, yeah. It's not easy to pronounce. Or Toledano.
Oh, Toledano. You should have seen the second guest name. His name was like really long, and he said, just call me Bruno.
Toledano is quite easy. The source of it is Toledo from Spain. So
Ah,
yeah.
I see. Didn't know that. Interesting. Cool.
Mhm.
So, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Can you kindly like introduce yourself for our audience?
Sure. I'm joining you today from Tel Aviv, from Israel. I am the VP Business Development, as you mentioned, of Inabit. I'm doing business development, sales, partnering for the past, I don't know, 15 years almost. Worked in different type of companies, large ones, all in high tech. In the past 6 years or more, I'm doing fintech, and yeah, it's an interesting and learn journey.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm super happy that you joined us to have a discussion about the topic. And our topic of discussion today is navigating the digital frontier, revolutionizing business development in the cryptocurrency and blockchain era. So I'm really excited, by the way.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So let us start directly by asking what actually inspired you or interested you to go into business development.
Um, it's interesting. I think that the profession chose me more than I chose him or it, because when I was very young, around 15 years old, still in high school, I worked in a bookstore. After high school, I every day I went to a bookstore, and I could be like any other student and just like do my job. But the way I am, I just started to manage the store, and it was important for me to increase sales, even though I got no commission. But I wanted it to be successful and busy. And towards the end of the school year, I initiated contacts with all the schools around the city to come and buy the books from our shop. And that was my first partnering work, like to work with all the teachers around the city, to instruct the kids to come, the students to come and buy books from our store. And that summer, we had a line from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. every day that starts in the beginning of the store and ends in the end of the street. So it was a crazy success for a 15-year-old. And I realized that I have it, that I have what it takes to think outside of the box, to do business, to think how I can increase business, how to do partnerships, how to um, um, make people buy what I have to sell. So it's just like it started from there, and I went with that.
That's interesting. That's very nice. So you knew at a very young age that you are going to sell stuff.
Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. That's interesting. And so let's now ask you about your current company. So what exactly is Inabit?
So Inabit is a startup, an amazing startup, very innovative, that comes to solve a real pain, a real challenge that exists in the world of cryptocurrency or digital assets today. So basically, Inabit developed a financial platform to manage crypto from a finance point of view. So, if you're a CFO or financial professional and you need to manage your business performance, revenue, funds, expenses, and all of what a finance professional needs to do, when it comes to crypto, it's much harder when it is in fiat. In fiat, you have all the tools, you have all the systems, everything is available for you. And with crypto, it's not yet the case. It's
Mm,
so new, it's still new. And the ability of you as a finance operation person to know even the simplest thing, how much funds you have, like how much you have, where it's located now, currently, how much it's worth. It's a question that it's hard to answer. Um, and Inabit has a self custody wallet. This is the first one. We are providing a secure wallet, which is the most important thing when it comes to crypto. It has to be secured. So we have a secured self custody wallet, which our customers are the only one who has access to their keys and to sign transactions. We have a dashboard where you can connect all of your different wallets and then see all of your assets in one place across all the wallets that you're working with, regardless of
mm,
where they are located. And we're basically trying to provide a one stop shop of everything that a business needs. So we are integrating with different providers to provide, other than the wallet and the dashboard, also the ability to report tax, do accounting, invoicing, off and on ramp, which is the connection between the fiat and the crypto world, transfer funds that origin in crypto into fiat to your bank account and the other way around. It's really give under one umbrella everything that the business needs in order to properly manage his business.
Interesting. And you, is it Inabit, like in a bit, or
It's you can use it the way you want. We are saying in a bit.
in a bit, like in a bit?
Exactly.
Okay, interesting. Because crypto has a lot of complexities, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm always like hearing from people who are not crypto savvy or who are not technical people.
Yeah.
For example, a civil engineer or an architect who has no knowledge about wallets and they want to invest, but they have no idea how they can monitor. So if I want to buy stocks, it's easy, right? But buying crypto, I mean, I come from a technical background, so it's okay for me. But for them, it's so hard. And when you take it at an enterprise scale, then it becomes even harder, right?
Exactly. So the tools that exist today are, I think, they're designed for crypto-oriented type of people. So if you have a crypto company and you want to hire a CFO, you will have to bring someone with the right background and experience, because
Mm,
otherwise it will get lost completely. So our tool is really come to solve that pain as well. It's very friendly. This is one of the most important thing for us. The usability is one of the highest priority. So I believe that every person, like, I have this saying that I'm always telling everyone here, that they need to speak human language, not crypto, not tech, speak humans language. So I want to believe that every average person will be able to find himself working with a platform and
mm,
fully understand how it operates.
mm. Yeah, that's true, but crypto is still far away. I mean, when we saw AI coming in, AI got adapted like really quickly, right?
Yeah.
But the whole crypto thing is still not adapted as. I mean, there is a lot of money invested there, but it's not as common as the AI. Which brings me to my next question: how has the landscape of digital assets evolved during your career? Because you have been in crypto for some time now, and what impact did it have so far on business development strategies?
So crypto it's a huge subject. it's keep on changing from day one, and it's changed so rapidly. And like if you blink for 1 second, you're missing the next big thing that is happening. Like you're going away for a vacation for 6 months, you're coming back and there is NFTs. Like there is it's keep on evolving and changes and changing every day. The most important thing I will say, in more than other subject, I worked in cybersecurity and in software and in traditional finance, and in crypto it's really different. Like you really need to keep reading every day and learning every day, and you need to listen to podcasts, and you need to follow the right people, and you need to network well in order to make sure that you're on track, like that you're not
Mm,
missing anything big that is happening. So it's keep on changing. It started with something that a lot of people like thought it's not going to stay, it's not here to stay, it's not important. Even in companies that I've worked before, and we had solutions to traditional banks and to crypto, we always had a discussion where to put the effort, where the money is, where is the best place to focus our business development efforts. And I have to say that what I love about cryptocurrencies and this world of blockchain and digital assets is that the fact that it's keep on changing and it's evolving so fast is that people are also quick to adopt new technologies. So they are
mm,
so open to discuss. Now when I'm going to banks, if I want to put my foot at the door, it takes me months. The process is so long. And today, if I want to speak with the biggest crypto company in the world, doesn't matter who it is, I can get to the CEO. Maybe it will take me some time. Maybe I will need to speak with several people, but I will get to the cherry on top.
mm,
So I love it. It's like it's keep changing, but from a business development point of view, for me, the ability to reach the highest people on the pyramid is like the best.
mm. That's true because I remember during multiple conferences I've seen it's easy to get uh, higher management people of crypto companies as compared to traditional finance. You know, I worked in traditional finance as well,
Where?
and at Griff. Griff is a like a data provider. You know, it's like a credit risk bureau. So we had a lot of data, and it's also interesting. They have also evolved a lot. Uh, because like if you were a student 10 years ago and you made a mistake, right, and now you're grown up, you're become more sensible, you have a good job and everything, so that how why should something a mistake 10 years ago should still impact, you know?
Yeah.
So those are things they are also adapting, but the thing is it's these are things that take time. Like I live in Germany, so Germany is one of the slowest to accept things, you know, like it is really slow. And I mean, you will find restaurants in 2024 which still don't accept card.
Wow.
And even shops, like if I go to any small shop around the corner, right? And I make a purchase of 4 or 5 euros and I will take out my card, he will say, sorry, but card payments above 10 or 15 euros.
Wow. You know that in
Because
Israel it's the other way around. We are limiting cash because of AML and the ability to, money laundering and all of that. So we are limiting cash. I'm surprised. Germany is such an advanced country.
no finance, fintech, it's really it's slow. And
Wow.
if you talk about like opening a bank account, it's the best experience I had of opening a bank account, an actual bank account, was Thailand. It took me less than 15 minutes to get an account number.
Wow.
She just took my passport. The lady was like typing in, and then she asked me, we have like a blue book, which is your work permit. And then she saw, is this the current address where you live? I was like, yes. And then she kept typing and typing. And then I was just having tea, you know, I didn't have to do anything. And then she asked me, do you want this account or that account? Basically, the difference was credit card. And I said this one, and then she kept doing it, and then she said you have to wait like 3 or 4 minutes, and I will print you like a bank book, account book or something. So she came up with like a leaflet, and whenever you went to the bank, you just needed that. And then she asked me, "Do you need a debit card?" I said,
Wow.
"Of course. How will I actually make my purchases?" And then she was like, she said, "Okay, cool. A press of a button, a form printed. I had to sign it, and they gave me a card right there."
Wow. Talking
The
about
and the
efficient.
Exactly, and the best part, when I was leaving Thailand, I went back, and she was the other consultant was like, "Hey, you're going, right? You need the debit card." I was like, "No, I will throw it away." "Why are you throwing it? Take it, and we will refund you part of your fees back."
Wow.
So that was really cool.
I had no idea. Thailand, what a surprise.
I was as surprised as you, and I say that I had one of the best banking experiences in Thailand.
Amazing. Compared to Berlin to Germany, that's yeah, that's a
I mean,
surprise.
and the funny thing is, if Germany and Netherlands are together, right?
Yeah.
In Netherlands, I have seen a beggar with a debit card machine. Like I was like,
That's smart, actually. That's smart.
I mean, that's super cool. But coming back to our topic of discussion, so what are some of the key challenges, like in maintaining a cryptocurrency portfolio, and how does your platform actually? You mentioned briefly that you're able to connect all the single wallets to there, right? So
Yeah.
how does your platform address these issues and challenges?
Yeah. So I think that if we talked about Germany and how behind they are, it will not be a surprise for you the way they are working with crypto. Like it feels like Middle Ages. It's really behind. There is so many manual work, and when it comes to funds, it's so risky. Like the room for mistakes is huge. So basically, most of the businesses, what they're doing today is maintaining several wallets because they want to manage the risk, and or because different wallets accept different networks or coins and so on. So in most cases, they will work with several wallets. I've seen cases that of companies that work with 15 or 20 different wallets. And then what it means is that in order for them to check how much funds they have on every wallet, they need to manually go into each of them and then update some kind of an Excel sheet. And then think about in the end of the month, they need to check all of the transactions that was made from each wallet in and out. So they have someone, usually a dedicated person, to sit and update manually this Excel sheet, this transaction, this date to this wallet, to this contact, what they paid for, and so on. And this is how it looks like. They are maintaining this Excel sheet, sending it to an outsource accounting firm. The accounting firm double check all the work that they have done just to make sure that there was no mistakes. They're paying another fee for the accounting firm that charging them per hour, and then they have the full picture and report, but retroactive. Like they have the ability in the beginning of the in the middle of the month to look the last on the last month report. So that is a pain. Sometimes people are telling me that if a stakeholder is asking for the balances, he needs to go in one by one and calculate. And by the time he's getting back to him with an answer, the price is already changed and it's a completely different number. So there is a lot of pain around that. And there is a lot of manual work, a lot of room for mistakes. What we are doing, we have a platform that gives you a real time data. You can
Hmm.
connect all of your different wallets. You don't need to log in and log out. You're getting all of your information from all of the different wallets in real time. And I think that what finance people loves very much about our platform, there is a lot of different aspect to that, but there is a feature that we added recently because one of the CFOs asked for it, is to download all the reports into an Excel sheet. And finance people just love their Excels. It's like this is their favorite tool. You will give them the world. Like we have the perfect UI. It's so amazing. It's so sexy, so colorful, but they would want to work with Excel. So you can download everything to Excel. They can manipulate the data, add formulas, remove whatever they need to remove, send it to whoever they need to send it, upload it to their ERP or whatever they need to do with that, report tax over it. So there are so many things that that we are solving from that aspect of visibility, the ability to get the
Mhm.
information. We are digesting a lot of the information for them in order for them to get educated decision very fast. And also the security aspect. Today I spoke with a CFO, and he told me that they are working today with several exchanges, that they are keeping most of their funds there. And when I'm saying most of the funds, it's like millions of dollars. And he's telling me basically there are three people that can access this account any day. Each of them can take all the money and just go and disappeared. Just someone, if he will feel bad in the morning, will have a fight with the CEO, it just can withdraw all the funds and just disappeared. And stories like
Oh,
that happened. It's not like that it never happened. It happened several times. Um, so the security aspect is a pain. We have a policy engine that is like a layer on top of all of the wallets, so you're connecting your wallets, and then you can decide who will sign transactions, what will be the rules, what will be the tiers that requires 2 people, 3 people, 4 people to approve. These people that are approving transactions, can they send transactions to anyone or just to
mhm.
specific people that you are saving as contacts in the system? So all of these painful processes that are so risky and sensitive, we are solving as part of our platform.
Only one word. Damn. It's
Absolutely.
yeah, no, it's very scary when a lot of money from people is dependent on someone who basically can just steal the money. I mean, we are human beings, so greed comes in people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But eventually the question becomes like you need to have processes in the company, so it's not like anyone can do anything they want, you know. And if you
Exactly.
look at any big corporate which is successful, we are talking about which companies make billions of dollars.
Yeah.
They are there for a lot of decades, you know, but they are there because they have these processes in place. So if one person leaves or goes or dies or something happens, no one can actually break the company. It's
Exactly.
not as easy to break a company, right? And
Exactly.
this is and in the future it's also going to become more important for companies to invest, right? I mean, you can't only keep fiat money all the time.
Fiat is I can understand why people will put most of their trust with fiat, but it is definitely very limited, and I truly believe that the future is with crypto. Fiat is at first the banks can take any fees that they want, like they can decide what they do. If they refuse, decline, approve, take terrible fees, like you have no right to ask, no right to decide. And with crypto, the beauty is that the transactions are so fast, so cheap, it's so easy to transfer funds from across the world, that the future has to be like that. We are a
Mhm.
global world, like everything is so happening so fast, and it has to change as well. Finance has to keep up.
I have a friend who has a company software house. He's building stuff for people. And if, for example, you asked him to build a software, right, and you did a bank transfer, it will take 4 weeks for him to get the money.
Exactly.
So even if you transferred the money today, he will get it after 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And the problem is not that the client was slow, that you didn't pay on time. You paid on time. You paid the same day of the invoice. But then the regular, it passes through this chain, through the Swift protocol, and it goes through like a million places, and then he gets it after like 4 weeks, which is a month.
Yeah.
So if it's a small company, they are actually reliant on this money, right? And they basically need to make sure they have money, they have the capital. Otherwise, what happens? Salaries get delayed, you know, and then people start hating the startup, you know, and then they leave, you know. So it basically becomes a problem for the economy as well. So
Absolutely.
with crypto, it is like immediately he gets it, you know. So that's why he's doing that. So now you come from a traditional financial giant, you know, and now you're working in a startup, so it can be a big or a significant shift. Like your facial expression, so that it was very interesting. So can you share your experiences and insights on making the transition?
Yeah, definitely. I think first I will say a disclaimer before my answer. I think it's a matter of personality, and the type of person you are. Basically, I am the type of person that needs things to happen fast. I love the rhythm. I love that things are keep on changing. That I have the ability to do things and to actually accomplish things. And the problem with corporates is that it's just not the case. They are like appreciate long processes with a lot of thinking, a lot of consideration, and I prefer to make something, maybe have a make mistakes along the way and correct them after doing them. I prefer that instead of sitting and planning and thinking for weeks or months or years. I don't know. Um, so it was just not for me in the sense of the way of work, but I did learn a lot. The beauty of going to these giants is that they are investing a lot of time and education in their employees, so it's a great place to learn. I've learned a lot about finance and how merchants works and how payments work, and everything that is bad in finance. So that was a great educational experience for me, but it was just no. I always knew it. By the way, it wasn't for me. I worked in a startup. We were acquired by this corporate giant, and because we were acquired, I got the opportunity to work there, and I thought it will be a good opportunity, and it was. But my heart is in startups. Like I know that this is my place. I've done it several times, and when I got the opportunity, I explored several startups. As a person that has two successful exits already, I had the privilege of choosing my next place and to be spoiled in what I want to do next. And I've decided to go with inabit because it's when I came in, it was an early stage, and I really believe in what we are doing. We are It's like you when you're thinking about it, it's so simple. Like the pain is there, we understand it's there, we have a very good technology to solve it, so it was no brainer.
Interesting. Um, I mean, corporate versus startup. I have friends who are working in corporates and they're extremely happy. Like some of them went to the startup world and then they were like, no, we don't want that, because they were like, no, we need to have more support, corporate, and it's a personal decision, like you mentioned,
Absolutely.
I have also worked in both. I mean, I'm fine with both. Some things I like from the startup world, like for example, the agility, the fast speed, and so on, and the money from the corporates. I mean, like if startups run out of funds at times, right? But corporates have more bank balance to support your projects.
That's true. From my experience, I also didn't work as hard in corporates. I worked in two in my career, like two American corporates giants, and in a way, it's good for different phases of your life. Like when you're a young parent, or there are like it's very important for you to keep a work life balance in some phases of your life more than in other phases. So it gives you this ability, like they're really respecting your personal time in a way. When you're working in startup, you don't have this privilege. Like I don't think that in the next 3 years I will get to take a holiday or a good night's sleep or a weekend. It's a non-stop, and I'm not just speaking about the fact that I'm working all the time. It's just that my head is working all the time. I'm always thinking, what is the next thing that I need to do? Where's the next place that we need to be in? Every person here, we are 24 employees. Every one of us has a lot of weight on his shoulders. So we really need to work hard together in order to bring it to the next place we want to be. When in corporate, you're one out of 20 something thousand. You're with you, without you, no change will happen drastically to the business. So you can allow yourself to have a good night's sleep.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I have worked in a corporate and I was on a leadership, and in leadership, corporates become the same. Like you have a lot of stress that your team is so big that you need to make sure that the salaries are there. You need to make sure that the team is delivering and so on. Everything is set. The people are happy. So it becomes also very like complex. And I have friends who are like C-level people in huge giants. We are talking more than 100,000 employees.
Yeah.
So I see them and I'm like, is that really what I want to do in life? It's very stressful. Like I can see them. Like one of my friends, he's like always saying, there is no Saturday, there is no Sunday. What is a holiday? Even if he's traveling, right, for holiday with family, he's always on call.
Yeah.
So it's when you're an executive, then I think it becomes like genuinely stressful because you need to make sure that the team has every single resource to deliver. They are not being stuck. There are no issues and so on, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. Anyway, we need to find a everyone needs to find a balance. It's good to give 3 5 hard years, but you need to get return from it. Like I'm expecting in 3 to 5 years to have a good exit, to have IPO. Something has to happen, and that I will get a good return for my hard work. It's not going to stay like that forever. I'm not going to work up until I'm 60 like that. It's I'm
No,
giving good amount of years with a lot of hard work, and eventually it will worth it.
that's true. That's true. And I've recently started seeing some companies. They're doing the wrong thing. They're startups. Now I'm not talking about startups which are really small. I'm talking about startups which have raised well above 200, $300 million. So they are promoting that, hey, we will pay you for your hard work, and then they are giving limited contracts, so 1 year contract or a 6 month contract. And then in the contract they start writing this vesting thing that you need to stay with the company for 3 years before you're eligible, but they paid really bad. And then they are asking you to work for them for a year and then they fire you. So
Wow.
basically I have seen that happening, like, and these companies are not small. They are like, I put them in the mid-tier startup zone, so 24 is still a small, startup.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're making above 100 million, then I would put you in medium. But if you're making less than 100 million, then it's a smaller startup.
Yeah.
But if you're making well above 100 million and you're doing this, you're basically being unfair to people, right?
Definitely.
And I'm seeing that happening. Like I'm seeing that a lot. And I knew someone who was offered a job like this, and I was like, dude, this salary is nothing like as compared to your last salary. You're just going to make like maybe 200 euros more. Oh yeah, they promised me equity. I'm like, but what if they fire you after a year because that's a 1 year contract? Oh,
The
I don't.
I don't think that companies like that, honestly, they cannot really succeed. Not with bringing the good talents into their company, and after they will fire the first one or the second one after a year. The rumor is like the words will spread. Israel, for example, is a very small country, so it's no one will be able to get away with that. Like everyone will know that this company is doing that and that, and no one will want to work there, not a real talent. So
Mm,
and it's also very stupid. Like it takes a long time to train someone and to get from him the maximum, like the best that he can get out of him is after a year. Like that he really knows what he is doing, he can work independently. It takes time. So to fire someone after a year, like you wasted a lot of money.
like this is an example I saw. Like I saw his contract and I was surprised. I was like, and then when I asked him, dude, by the way, just go to them and ask them. They write, you get this many shares, right? What is the value of the share? And then the startup scene started, like, oh yeah, we are expected to go to 100 million, trillion, gazillion, quadrillion, I don't know, and you will become like a trillionaire. You will basically buy Amazon and so on. But I asked him, just ask them one question: what is the worth of these shares right now. And then when they told him, it was 200 euros. So it's
But
like
how
you're
many
putting
he
in.
got? To
He
add,
didn't.
the total was 200 euros.
Yeah,
Oh, embarrassing.
it was embarrassing. And we are talking about someone who was like a team lead level, So imagine this is the guy who's just starting his career. They would basically be using that poor chap, like they don't invest in education, like proclaiming, yeah, we are a startup, we have the best culture and so on. I mean, this is part of the culture, right? Like
Yeah.
you need to make sure that if you're not paying well above average, it's fine. Like it's fine, but don't proclaim things that are not, good or something. But because we are talking about something very complex. Now, I bring the second more complex topic, which is you're a lady, and now you're working in a very traditionally male dominated fintech industry. How do you see women's evolving role and impact, and what changes do you think we need to make, for example, that encourages more women to participate into the fintech industry?
Yeah. So first, I want to thank you for this question because I think it's a very important topic to discuss. And as much as we will discuss about it and bring it to the table, so I believe that eventually the change will come. It will come if the topic will be discussed in a good manner, not in we need to fight for the changes. I agree also with the people that are fighting for that, and I'm supporting them in any way. But I also think that it needs people also needs to understand and to give us the opportunity to speak it out in a way that will maybe open their mind to listen to that. So it's always good to have the opportunity to have a discussion about that. So unfortunately, the fact that women are not as well representative in all different places, like in we don't have enough CEOs, we don't enough co-founders, we don't have enough representative in the government in Israel. I'm not sure about what is happening in the rest of the world. There is not enough women that are sitting on top in many places. But in finance and in fintech and in business in general, there are not enough women. And I think that the reason for that is that we are not getting enough chances. It's still very hard for people to feel comfortable to do business with women. They will feel like without even thinking about it. If you want to do to make a deal about something that is very sensitive to your organization, security sensitive, money sensitive, there is a lot of investment into this technology, you will feel much more comfortable to make this process with a man, because we have this assumption that men knows what they're talking about, not like in women in some cases. And this is a perception that we have to change, because we are still in a way living the history that women's cannot vote or cannot work as lawyers or doctors or whatever, and we are not there anymore. Like, women can do everything. We can serve in the army, and we can vote, and we can do basically everything that we want. We are as smart, as talented, as some will say more hardworking individuals. We can do everything that men can do, but the perception is still there. So it's so still very hard. All of the people that I meet in the conferences, that my position in other companies like ours, in our competitors, they are all men, and what is so terrible about it, it's the fact that not only that they are men, it's the type or same type of men. So like there is no place for diversity even in the wider sense of it. So I think that everyone, you're asking me what we should do. First, we need push for women. I understand that what most people will say is that we are opening the position. Whoever is coming is welcomed. We are not saying we will get only men or we prioritize men. If women will submit their CV, we will of course consider them, but we need to prioritize women because we also grew up under the assumption that we are not as good as men, that our place or our position should be that behind the men, next to the men, never leading positions. So we are also holding the perception that we do not deserve the place around the table.
Mm.
This is why we need someone to push us in, to believe in us. I also had the reason that I'm in this position is because I had the first manager that believed in me. I was nothing like what I am today. I had one manager that told me, like, I want to promote you to that position. And I told him, me? What? But you have this guy and this guy. What would you want me in that position? And he said, because you're super talented, you can do it. And the fact that he believed in me pushed me for my career path, basically. So I wish every woman will find that person that will believe in her and will push her. And I wish for women to believe in themselves and push themselves as a next
Mm.
level. And I wish for all of us to look at us as equal and to give us an equal opportunity, if not more, prioritized at the first stage until we will get to this place that we are actually equal. And I hope that we will start with our kids in
Mm.
kindergarten, in schools, to teach them that the fact that you're a girl doesn't mean that you cannot do computer science or you cannot do I don't know, anything. My son just graduated from high school and he done his first subject was computer science, and he finished the class with 20 kids, one girl out of 20, one girl in computer science. Why? We can code as good as them. Why is it like that? So it's still the case. We still have the gaps. We still have a lot of work to do. And it's up to us. It's up to each of us.
Mhm. It's true. The key thing what I learned is you might need to train anyone, regardless gender, education or gender or experience. You bring in someone for procurement, you need to teach them, hey, this guy is our supplier. You buy these things from this guy, you buy the laptops from him or her, and so on. So if you hire a 10-year experienced person or someone with, from a different location or so on, you will still have to tell them the same thing, so why not give someone an opportunity as well. But this is a topic we definitely need to talk more about, that how can we try to promote uh, more women empowerment. I mean, I know people who are like really successful women, and it's good to see. And when I'm sitting with them, they are like, the most important thing we need to do is educate. That's one thing. Like, regardless, not to guys, not to girls, but we need to educate in general that it's okay if someone wants to pursue a career in something. It's fine. Let them. It's Let's not judge people, because that's the biggest problem we have, that people tend to judge others for something.
Yeah.
Maybe I like cooking, I want to open up a restaurant. If I do that in some countries, it would be probably like, oh, this guy's an engineer and he's running a kitchen, like why is he a chef,
Yeah.
but on the same page, then we have successful chefs like Gordon Ramsay and so on, like highly influential, highly successful and making millions of dollars,
Yeah.
so I mean, it's a complex topic, but
I agree.
now coming back to the business development side, so what strategies have you actually found most effective in leading global sales team and also expanding into new markets?
So I will start by saying it's a challenge. To manage a global team is a challenge. I'm currently have an employee in Taiwan, one in the Philippines, and one in Canada. And first, you have the different cultures. like there is a significant differences between the different cultures, and you need to bring all of them together. I'm always starting when I'm interviewing or on the first day of the job. I'm always starting by apologizing, because I know that we have this culture of very being very straightforward and very bottom line type of a culture. And it sometimes can be perceived as aggressive or pushy, which is never the intention or where we are or what we are trying to be. So I'm always trying to encourage them to tell me, let me know if I was too pushy or too aggressive or I cut them at some point. There is a culture differences, like and I'm trying to learn. I'm trying, like one of the Canadian employee that I have is from India. So I went and I've studied and I've learned and I listened to a podcast explaining about their culture, what they're considering to be insulting, how do they receive criticism, how to give a feedback to in the Indian culture. And on one hand, you don't want to live by a stereotype, and on the other you want to be sensitive. So it's always a challenge, like how do you meet this balance? So I'm trying to stay loyal to myself, in a way, being myself but a better version of myself, for the sake of these other cultures that might not understand the way I am. So that is one difference that we need to overcome. Second, when people are working remotely and not from the next street, like very remotely, you need to keep them feeling part of the mission, connected to the company, feel like they are part of this bigger thing that is inabit. So it's a challenge, it's a work, and we always need to keep on doing it. I'm trying my best to speak with each of them, if not every day, every other day, even just to check in, just to say, how was your day? Not even ask what was your tasks, just what you had for lunch, or did you get the chance to sit with your wife for coffee this morning? Just to feel like we are connected in a way, even if we didn't meet in the cafeteria and had coffee here together. So it's a challenge. I'm trying to speak with them as much as I can, to meet them in person as much as I can. So I'm bringing them to conferences. I'm flying with them over to meet them in all kind of conferences, and just to speak with them and also to connect them with other people in the
Mm.
organization. Their one-on-ones with different type of people in the organization is also a very important part of it, so they will know everyone. You know how it is, everything is happening on Slack, right? Everyone's speaking on Slack. It's the easiest. I will send you a message, you will answer, and you never see the face behind the name. So I'm encouraging everyone, even though they're all developers and it's easier for them to hide behind Slack or Jira tickets. I'm pushing everyone to get in front of a camera and to interact. And it's a whole new world for everyone. But yeah, this is my way of overcoming it.
Mm. Because culture is one thing, and then when everyone is working behind the screen, a lot of times people tend to, like, if you ask everyone to join the call, they join, but then everyone's camera is off and they are mute. If they are even sitting there, you're talking and talking and talking, and then there is no response, then you're like, am I talking to the screen? you know
Yeah.
so that becomes very challenging as well, especially with the whole home office and different time zones. With Taiwan and Canada, it's like almost half a day apart.
Yeah. So they are meeting me halfway. Like I'm trying to start very early and finish a bit later, and we are all doing efforts for each other.
That's hard. I mean, when you have Asia, Europe, and
Yeah.
US involved, it becomes really hard.
Because
But
I'm looking for talent. So
mm,
I'm trying to ignore the location. I'm saying if I will have the right people in the right positions, this is more than halfway to succeed. So if it means that I need to adjust and he needs to adjust, that will be okay. Like we will make it work. But if I will search by geo and I will miss the right person in the right position, that is something that I'm not sure that we will be able to overcome. So this is my priority, like the right
mm,
person in the right position. This is the way to succeed, in my opinion. And by
that's
the
a
way,
good.
following our last question, we have only one man and the rest are women in the team.
And how big is the team?
Five people.
That's nice. So it's the same in my company right now. So we have five total, four women and me.
This is why you're so successful.
I have a lot of prayers. Interesting. And for business development, right, you need to have a lot of strategic partnerships and in the fintech industry. And recently, I've been getting this question around, "Hey, Majid, you're running this podcast, and every time you have a new guest from like a company we never even heard about, or something, some industry that is completely new for us. So how do you manage basically this, like, and I tell them, go out, talk to people. So I want to understand, like, how important do you think are strategic partnerships generally, not in fintech industry but generally, and how do you cultivate these relationships?
Um, so I think that it's the most important thing. And generally, this is the way I live my life, even outside of work. Like, I'm the type of person that have a person to everything that a person needs. So I'm the go-to person if you need something. And I'm trying to have that database of people that can provide different services to different people, because then I am the connection between them. And it's a good place to be. It's a good place to be the connection between different parties, because then when you need something, these are the people that will stand by your side. And it's easier for you to ask for a favor from this one or for that one, because you gave him a service before. So it's like it's a network that gives to each other. It's not just in the conference. For example, we can tell the audience, right, that we met in the NBX conference. And I met there some great friends that currently we will not do business together because there is no points where we can do things together, but we are still in touch. And with one of them, I'm speaking on Telegram. I wished him a happy new year. And then he asked me like which conferences I'm attending in the near future. And I gave him the list. And then he said, "Oh, I would want to be in that conference." And I connected him with the person in the conference that will
Mm.
give him the. So like to be the person that connects between different people, I love it. I'm enjoying it. To meet people, to speak with people. I'm a very curious person. Like I want to know everything about everyone. I'm trying not to, because then it's like a bit too pushy in a way. But I'm genuinely interested to know like what people are going through. So I'm speaking with everyone, and I'm enjoying the human connection. I'm enjoying the networking, and it's always proved himself like to be a good thing for a business. Like this is where the customers are coming from. This is where the VCs are coming from. These are connections that are good for years to go. Like I can now reach out. I just did reached out to someone that I knew 8 or 7 years ago, and I met him in a conference. And I texted him, and he helped me with the connection that I needed to someone that he knows. So it's super useful. This is the best tool that you will have. Not marketing, not um, I don't know, ads or banners or whatever. Networking is the best tool you will have.
That's very true. I mean, you need to be a business card, right? Like all the time. I remember at NBX, it was like whenever I showed people my LinkedIn, some of them were like, "Who uses LinkedIn?" So Telegram.
Yeah,
But
that is a multi-channel world. We have LinkedIn and Telegram and WhatsApp. It depends on where you are in the world and which vertical you're speaking with. And you need to maintain all of these channels.
I mean, I'm talking with some people also from the conference through Telegram, and then the thing is, I don't, because they don't have their own picture. They have like a NFT picture there. So, and I'm like, huh, I remember I met you, but who are you? Like, let me recall. And then they don't have any LinkedIn or something. So it's really hard to basically
So
even,
let me give you a tip, okay?
yeah.
What everyone are doing in crypto events, so it's not weird. Don't feel like you will be weird if you'll do it. Is just take a selfie. You're saying, let's take a selfie, send it to each other, and then you have a picture. And then what I'm doing a selfie, send it to each other, and I'm doing a text. So we met in NBX and agreed that blah blah blah, something something.
Mm.
It works.
That was the first lady I met, so I didn't know that technique. Afterwards, when I met Divya was like, "Hey, let's take a picture together" or something, and then everyone was like going around taking pictures. So I was like, "Huh." I find it weird. I was the one who was finding it weird because I'm not used to that.
It is
But
weird. I agree. It's weird, but it's useful. It works.
but it is very useful because then you can, when you send a message, right, you can add like a note or something. This is why we met.
Yeah.
Interesting, because we are also almost running out of time. So, one last question that I have is, what advice would you share for someone who actually wants to enter the BD domain in general?
Not to go into that. Honestly, not everyone has the stomach for it. But just I think that the best advice is that you need to know how to enjoy the process. The process can be very frustrated. There is a lot of stress and demand and expectations from everyone around you. Like if you'll think about it, in a company, they are building a product. There is a development team that works very hard on building something, and then there is the marketing team that works very hard on designing it, and then there is the biz dev team that if he will not succeed, there is no worth to the company, like it will not succeed. So there is a lot of expectations from everyone around you, everyone for demanding
Mhm.
for answers and results. You need to know how to enjoy the process, how to get also the disappointments in with grace, to learn from them, to grow from them, to build your next success out of failures. So it's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy task, and it's a very hard position to be in. Um, but it's also very rewarding. Like every success is amazing. It's full of adrenaline, and you feel like you I don't know, you conquered the world, and it's a great feeling. There is nothing else like it. So if I will need to give you one advice, is think hard if you can enjoy the process also when it's very hard. If you have the ability to get up from a failure, because there are a lot of those, you'll get a lot of no's before you will get a yes. um, and there is a saying in Hebrew, there is a word in Hebrew that's called chutzpah. That is type of like a special sauce that if you have it, if you have the ability to approach people that you don't know, to speak with people that are very, like very high in the hierarchy in their companies, if you feel comfortable in these environments, so it's probably for you. Go for it, because the potential of making money and success and provide for yourself is amazing, and there is nothing else like it.
Interesting. I mean, interesting. because when I was thinking about career, right? I was like, BD was something I was horrible at selling. I mean, if someone asked me go and sell a pen or something, a software, I would say, no, thank you. But then I realized that actually it was like a hidden talent. I had to figure it out. That, but now if someone says, "Hey, you wanna sell?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, let's go."
I think that there are different approach. It's not like many people when they're thinking about sales, they're imagining the American shows where there is this guy in a car garage and he's trying to sell you a car with his button shirt outside of his pants with like this sleazy type of speaking and but no, it's not like that. There are so many different types. There are the quiet ones, the trustworthy ones, the easygoing ones, the ones that are you're enjoying the conversation with, and some that gives you a lot of value from a technical point of view. So there are so
Hmm.
many types, and whatever works for you, not necessarily will work for me, and the other way around.
Interesting, cool. So this has been very insightful. The discussion was very interesting. We talked about some challenges, and also you shared a lot of valuable information today. Thank you, Or, for sharing your experiences and expertise with us. Would you like to say something as a closing remark for our audience?
Yeah, so I will say that it's my first experience in a podcast. I enjoyed it very much. So thank you for the opportunity. And I think that we covered some very important topics today that I wish will get to the right ears. And I feel that even I will, if I was able to change one person perspective on one of the subjects that we covered today. So I've done my part and I would be proud. So it was a great pleasure and I'm very happy that I got to meet you. So thank you so much.
Thank you again. So, to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to the executives. If you found this episode valuable, don't forget to subscribe, share it with your network. Until next time, this is Majid signing off.